we give the stage to our new speaker, Hector Hernandez. I'm a big fan of dexFreight. It's one of the early partners of the RSK ecosystem and actually building real logistic solutions benefiting from DeFi for Bitcoin. So welcome, Hector, to the stage, and looking forward to see the news about dexFreight.
Thank you, Gako. Always a pleasure to share the stage with such a group of startups and projects. Yeah, so for the ones that don't know anything about dexFreight, again, my name is Hector Hernandez, CSO and co-founder. We've been an early supporter and believer of the vision of RSK. And we are simplifying logistics for a better world. We do that with a fintech-enabled market network for logistics or freight companies to move shipments from booking to payment in one place. That's the vision. And all of this happens on top of decentralized protocols that run on blockchains, being RSK the main one. And then you can go to the next one, please, Frank. And then for you, logistics is it's a large industry, it's a multi-trillion industry, and it touches everyone. We are focused on solving two major problems in logistics. To make this simple, one is called fragmentation. So in the US, for instance, you have just in one segment of the logistics industry, the trucking segment, you have 500,000 trucking companies working with 17,000 brokers and millions of shippers. And this replicates in every other market around the world. So they all work in silos. So as a result, one of our every 4 trucks runs empty. So this is a multi-billion-dollar problem, and it's also a problem for the environment, for traffic, for and cost of goods. And the second problem that we are trying to solve is the lack of liquidity. Even though trucking companies move goods today and they need to pay for fuel and other expenses to deliver the goods, they usually get paid, believe it or not, 45, 60 days later. As a result, you have billions of dollars locked up in invoices. Next. So on the fragmentation, which is the first problem, a good way to think about this is multiple networks that are composed by shippers and trucking companies, but they all work in silos. So if you are trying to get an Uber, you might have a cab at your door. You go out, you never see that cab in the Uber app, right? So this is the problem that we're facing in logistics. Multiple networks or sub-networks are not connected between them, and as a result, it's very difficult to optimize capacity with loads because they don't see each other. Next. So the solution to this problem in the centralized world with industries that were less fragmented than logistics, for instance, the air travel industry, already happened, right? We have examples where a bunch of airlines got together and funded a common backend. In this part of the world, it's called Amadeus. So basically, if you go today to Travelocity or Expedia or Despegar or any of these travel sites, you might go to one or the other because you like the UI, the user interface, or because they give you loyalty points, or perhaps you have better bundle of services. But in reality, all of those are sourcing pricing and availability of seats from the airlines in one backend. So the airlines were very smart long ago. They put it together, their heads together, the data together, and they allow all these online and offline retailers to go, or wholesalers to go and look for that availability of seats. That is what we're doing for logistics. It doesn't matter if you're a legacy broker with very little systems, you can use the dexFreight Marketplace, or you might be a very advanced digital broker or digital intermediary with your own platform and UI. You can also connect to that decentralized protocol to source capacity and loads in one place. Next. And then the second problem that we talk about, and this is the one that Gaku mentioned on the DeFi solution, this was one of our early, this was so early that at the time that was launching. It didn't exist at the time. So the problem is, if you're a trucking company and you already delivered the goods, but now you have an invoice and you're going to have 60 days to wait, how do we make that invoice liquid? That was the problem. NFT didn't exist at the time. So that was the idea. So we've been patiently waiting and working in tandem or collaboration with with teams like the MakerDAO team, the Centrifuge team, the Money on Chain team, the Sovereign team. All of the teams are, because we are big believers on composability. There's no way we can think and build everything that's required. And we are very happy because all of these things are becoming a reality in the RSK ecosystem. So for this solution, what we do is we take those invoices, because every transaction happens using smart contracts. The two companies already signed the transaction. From that, we can create an NFT that is used with a fixed dollar amount, which is a real world asset. And then we use that asset as collateral in the DeFi ecosystem to bring liquidity and get that guy paid right away in a programmable and cheaper way than using traditional financing sources. Next. Okay, so a little bit on traction, where we are now. So we came out of beta last year. We have around 2,800 companies already in the platform. Among those, this is a kind of a little bit outdated number, but close to 1,000 carriers that already did at least one transaction in the platform. And then we also launched the DeFi solution. We are funding transactions with a top line revenue already of $373,000. We have about 70,000 loads per day in the platform, which is a large number. And we are close to the $3 million worth of transactions of freight spend already in the platform. Next. And this is some news that we want to share, because in order for companies to interact with each other, we wanted to have this decentralized infrastructure so they can retain some of the value they create by joining a network, having the right incentive structure so they can exchange, because all of them are competing for customers and data, especially if they are digital. So the only way to do that, and the most successful Web3 platforms that have been created in the latest years, are focused on incentive, right? And they usually issue a token. You saw the Bubblefish project, you see Sovereign, right? This is how people get engaged early and get excited about a project, and they commit to the project. But unfortunately, we are in the US market, and SEC regulations are very tough. So for the last 3 years, we haven't launched a token. We do have a protocol. We have the peer-to-peer network. We have the top layer, the marketplace. But for regulation purposes, we strategically didn't launch a token. And it turned out to be a good decision. Other projects like ShipChain got shut down by SEC back in December, even though they raised $30 million at the beginning. So in that journey, first we raised a $500,000 friends and family round. Then we raised a seed A round of 2.7 million. But we were always wanting to let the community own the platform, even if we didn't have a token just yet. So we launched a crowdfunding campaign. There was a big update on this regulation due to the pandemic last year, where we could go for a total of $5 million raised from non-accredited investors, meaning people that, even though they don't have $1 million worth of assets, they could invest in the project. Truck drivers, logistics professionals, dispatchers, anybody. So this is something we launched a couple of weeks ago. We're already this is live on the Star Engine. You can go to dexFreight.io and look for it there. We're very excited because now we have a lot of people. I think it's 200 investors. This is actually non-accredited, a lot of them non-accredited, that are already part of this community. And it was kind of the missing piece before a main launch of a protocol. So those are the news that I have to share with you. Happy to see the progress of all the other projects here, Gaku. Excited as always.
Thank you so much, Hector. It's amazing to see the traction figures and how much and how fast dexFreight is growing. And I'm sure many in the RSK community and the Bitcoin community also would like to participate and support the dexFreight marketplace. It's another, the crowdfunding platform that you're using is another way to decentralize the ownership and to get a community to participate. And I think it's a great news for everyone in the space. So congratulations for you and the whole team. Keep on moving fast and getting blockchain technology and DeFi for Bitcoin into the logistics market in the US. It's mind-blowing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hector. And with